Hello, Jefe Michael. How are you, my friend? Uh, I hope you're doing great. Here, Gerardo again. Just happy to follow the conversation. I just realized that this is going to be the fourth video since 2022, man. It's just like, wow. I guess I've been consistent once per year. But, anyways, man, hope you're doing good. I'm happy for your content. I'm happy for the expansion that you have done on your portfolio. I think I missed a lot on the obviously the broker and the funding and the viral solutions that you provide. And the jump that I see now on the construction side, no, or in the home and on all that sector, which I kind of foreseen that you are an expert on that area where it's a different beast. I can imagine all the contractors, all the capital, all the solutions, the probably the bigger numbers that you might see on projects and all that stuff. No, so on that note, congratulations, my friend. Um, I'm happy to hear that you're doing good, that you're super consistent on the video creation, and you are still providing a lot of value to us, man. So thanks for that. He was happy to hear you. The other last Friday in the live. I appreciate, like I sometimes interact a little bit, like with the same line of respect, admiration, of course, and from a hustler to another hustler, like that's amazing what you're doing, man. So keep on doing, and yeah, just like that. So if you don't mind, I will share you part of my journey, which has been a 180 degrees change. So it's kind of cool. I'm really in a different mental space since the other times that we would talk. So I don't prepare much in order. So I prefer more like the vibe of conversation with you, know. So as I say, if you allow me to share my personal journey, I remember your last question to me was, why do you run? No, the marathon journey for me is just like when I turned 30, I wanted to conquer something very good, and I did my first marathon. And I said to myself, I will run one marathon per year just because this is I can do it. No, so luckily, this is July 31st, 2025. I just turned 38, man. So things are getting um, more serious, no? Like I should supposed to have my life together, whatever that means. But anyway, so kind of cool. Um, until this day, I have run now 17 marathons, man. I think in my last video I was around 11 or 10 or 7 marathons. But anyway, so right now, just last year, I just run kind of one marathon every 2 months. So my secret is the turtle, like the slow pace. I'm not married with the time pressure of being the fastest, no. So that's how I not built, like my strength core in running is just endurance, is just patience, and it's just forced meditation, if you want to see it that way, no. So I'm able to run on average my last marathon in 5 hours, so it's kind of cool. I've been running in different places now, mountains, other cities, other settings, which is just like amazing, no. So you asked me why I run, and that question really got into me, like an echo. Why are you running? No, obviously because you're strong, obviously because you have the physical capacity, which is like sometimes a given, but I'm learning to appreciate when I'm not injured, or that I run gentle towards myself. No, so that's also important. And for me, every marathon is an expansion, but the why, to answer in a very specific, is two answers. One, for my family, obviously, but in particular with my niece. Her name is Anita, and she is around 6 years old. She turned 7. And last year, I ran a farewell marathon in my home city, San Luis Potosí, Mexico, on June 2024. And it was really nice, a meaningful moment for me, saying goodbye of my city. And the last line, I run with my sister and my niece. We crossed the finish line, and we have this amazing picture with her. And so those are the core memories that are forging into her. No, like running is what we do. So in a way, just like super happy and meaningful moment. My parents were present there, so it's just like conquering a life, conquering a deadline, conquering a goal, which is like, in a way, it permeates the family, like that success, personal success, is like everyone's just like share that joy with so that's one concrete answer. And the second concrete answer is, I've been listening around, reading around, like the way you will get to live a happier life is the way that you minimize risks. So uh, if I have to minimize one risk, regrets, sorry, is the Gerardo of 80 years old, what would be his um, what would he most be more proud of, like the jobs, the family, the decisions. So in my own ways, just like, oh well, I have started to run around my first marathon at 30 years old, and now 38, I've been running 17. So I'm pushing my limits in a healthy manner, and I'm also testing how I'm built of, no, like the strength. You value the strength of character and the endurance and so on. So that's really cool for me, because gives me more confidence, and every time I run a marathon, I learn something new. I see something different, a different perspective. I entertain different ideas. It allows me time to have a conversation with myself, also time to learn from others, also time to listen my books and so on. So it's really kind of cool journey, and that journey, obviously, that comes from the 30 years old, but also the situation with the divorce, and now this situation, I'm in a different era now. I have a girlfriend now, which is amazing. And yeah, it's just keep evolving, like the long answer for why I run is just like, for the Gerardo of 80 years old, how many regrets he will have. And I right now, I'm not having more regrets on the races that I run, like, oh, it's too expensive, should I go, should I not? Then I do it. No, so this July I run a race in the mountains, which is like kind of cool, super different marathon on the upskirts, and it's just amazing, testing my limits. So that's one thing that I want to share with you, and I have my notes here really. So I'm excited, because soon enough it will be my 21st marathon, which is half in kilometers, it's half of the marathons. And imagine how I will see things different, and then will be 42, and then it will be 50, so it's like, I'm super excited on that level. And as I say, every marathon aligns and reconstructs my life. But anyways, let me start sharing to you a happy and amazing good news. And this is where the journey turned 180 degrees change. And very quickly, man, I'm following my dreams right now. It's kind of a side note from the entrepreneurial journey as a codex publishing, as an editor, as a writer. This journey is I I got following the dream, which is studying a really prestigious program. It's a dual degree between a university here in Geneva, Switzerland, where I'm studying international affairs with a concentration on migration topics. And this journey is also a line that I got accepted to a second university, which is Harvard Kennedy School, man, where I'm going to study public administration. No, so it's 2 degrees in one journey. No, so the complications, and probably this is me not being very entrepreneurial life, was that I was preparing all my effort and all my dedication towards this application where I got accepted. No, so that was 2023, 2024. And it was a big risk, man, because for me it was, like the high school dream as Mexican. You hear about this Harvard stuff, so it's just like I say, okay, let's put all my chips there, like chess, like you move the pawn, and that pawn was choose Harvard, and you defend that chess, no, like that position for everything. So it was a big risk because this was like the only program that I wanted to study. It's a dual degree, so the reason that I wrote on my personal essays was like I'm following the heroes that I like, my superheroes, which is in Geneva. It's Kofi Annan. He used to be the Secretary General of the United Nations. And in Harvard, I am following the footsteps of Ban Ki-moon. No, he was another Secretary General of the UN, and those titans are like good influences on the global affairs that I'm trying to study more. And so right now I'm in the university, I'm in the library, man. Like if you can, I mean, I'm in a bubble, they call it. So it's kind of cool that I'm doing this video, and I say like, okay, 31st of July, I have to yes or yes send a quick update to Jefe Michael, like, man, I'm following my dreams. And with this thing, like things happen, change, like growing mentally. I met my girlfriend here. She's a human rights lawyer. She's from Germany. Her name is Mira. And it's amazing, man. But there are big hurdles, still the financial stuff that is happening. It's just like at the end of the day, I'm being aware that no matter the sector or the industry, like business or government or international organizations, I found out that everyone's looking for funding. Everyone wants to access to capital. That capital at the end of the day is concentrated in the same patterns, in the same institutions, in few organizations or individuals that are relevant, and right now is either getting harder to get in if you don't have certain amount, or it's easier if you have certain amount. No, so for me, as a strategic decision that I took for my business was, hey, this is Gerardo. This is a professional who has experience in different sectors, private as a procurement officer, public as also procurement, but buying vaccines and buying meals, and now as an entrepreneur, which is like promoting and selling books that promote bilingual English and Spanish education. So, in a nutshell, a social entrepreneur who wants to expand its horizons in global affairs and public administration. No, so with that story, I got accepted, and I'm honoring that. So. The business side is just like, okay, let's enhance it, let's get bigger. And the whole financial part that I'm saying is just like, man, I'm living here in this country, which is like hell of expensive compared to Mexico. It is different ways of doing things. It's more traditional. It's more exact. It's more a different standard from the American even culture. No, so it's been a really rich cultural experience, and I'm gaining this richness of doing business international while studying a very high demanding program. And I'm studying here migration, man. I'm studying here the topics of regular or irregular migration, labor migration, remittances, refugees, internal displaced people, all of those issues happening with the United Nations system, but also happening in different regions. Like in the US and Mexico was one story, but here in Europe and the Mediterranean is another story. In Africa, well, all the motivations to move and the inside conflicts that happen in countries. In Asia, well, the Middle East is a hub of attracting labor migration, but also internally with the disputes and the amounts of people who move from India, from China, is just very fascinating. No, so on that journey, that one of the key motivations was the personal life that I'm living. So it's kind of cool as Mexican learning more about other stories, other points on the world, and it's amazing. No, so long story short, on these 180 degrees is just like I'm in the middle. It was supposed to be only 2 years. Now I'm going to do 3 years because this is the bad news, no? And it's not a bad news, it's a happy problem to have, because you hear what happened with the news during this spring, May, June, where in the news international students from this university of Harvard, we were denied the access to request a visa as a student. No, so that request come from the top, and that got delayed many things. So it forces us to delay and defer or admission to study. Instead of being studied right now in July in Boston, I will have to wait until July 2026. So it's kind of not planned. So right now my philosophy is improvising a little bit, a lot, which is kind of like part of the game. Like there's a joke where they say, like, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. No, so right now it's just like, okay, now the joke's on me, no, because I like to plan, and I was supposed to be everything in order, the housing here, and the credits and the funding and so on. So it's a big hurdle because right now I have, in the Mexican terms, as if I were your cousin, I have 5 pesos in the pocket, and those 5 pesos is gonna run out soon. So I have to better find a job, that my business continue to grow, and to secure my funding either for the business and also for my education. So let me go deep on that in that journey, because like that's a common topic that I found with Incel, and maybe this is asking for your help later, and probably another opinion. During this student visa journey, I was required, because I couldn't get a scholarship, and that also hurt a lot. Like you feel like a 10,000 essays, and with crafting your story, crafting your meritocracy that of your achievements and your career reputation, but I didn't get. So what's next is the same mentality as an entrepreneur, no? Bootstrap and try to find an alternative sources of funding. So I knock for fellowship, scholarships and now requesting for funding. And I learned about other lenders who only support educational journeys, grants, and so on. So it was kind of interesting part because I was able and following your advice, as entrepreneur getting funding on a journey, you have to have the first principle a credit score, no? So as a foreign, it's almost more difficult, no? The invisible barriers are there. But anyways, long story short, I got able to open an account with Harvard University Credit Union, account, personal savings, and a credit card. Now I have my FICO score and my TransUnion and Nova Credit score, which is like 735, which is like cool. So that was like something that I wanted to tell you, like you have to tell Michael, like, hey, finally I have a credit score, no? So, but anyways, that's not the point. The point is just like I applied to Empower Financial Solutions. Like that was like they told us like, hey, that's your go-to and so on. So I applied for 100K, and oh man, it was a hurdle, and they ask you for many documents, which is like, okay, I was ready, like your acceptance letters, your CV, your proof of income, your tax returns, your credit scores from Mexico, from the US, and so on. So at the end of the day, I got a letter saying that Empower supports within another bank, and the decision of allowing me to have the credit was denied, no? So they say it's a big risk for debt after graduation, which is like, okay, I get it, man, we're studying, and this is a mid-career transition and masters, and I'm asking financing for the first for Harvard, not for the both of universities, no? So here in Geneva, I was able to find here a scholarship funding around here and so on. So that's not the point. The point is just that letter of rejection for me. Man, it burned my fire towards getting it, like, oh man, many online lenders as well, they tell you, oh, we can only give you 3,000, we can only give you 5,000. It's like, okay, these people or these systems or these banking are not giving you the right opportunity to see the people behind the application. Like, man, I got accepted to Harvard. I'm requesting money to this, and you are denying me this part, which because you don't trust me. So it's just like, oh my goodness, man. So that builds you an internal fire to get things right, no? And I don't want this to happen to me again. So I guess my ask for you is just like, hey, can you help me on this side? I mean, it's also part of the business, of course, but it's a situation where I would love to have, now that I'm more calm, now that I have accepted that I'm staying here in this country, trying to find a job, trying to get access to capital, trying to solve things and publish my books and so on. Namdran Comer, I would love to receive, like this input that I cannot see from you because you provide more creative solutions on that side. And I know your way of seeing people, no? Like, hey, do you have everything organized? Do you develop your character, which are not self-sabotage, like the friction that someone provides to us is just like that. So if you allow me after this video explaining that, we'll send you my letter of rejection of that that funding on the educational part. Is just like, oh man, you will feel it, because then the acceptance letter and then all that stuff. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is just like the journey is going. The journey of entrepreneur is still going. I forgot how many books I told you at that time, but now 2025, I have 2020 books on Amazon. I have 669 book units sold, which is around 4,000 on royalties. But that's not the point. The point is just like 600 is a lot for me. Knocking doors, making calls like, hey, buy me this book and so on. But, anyways, I'm being really happy and fortunate to continue. Obviously, the goal is to be the next milestone is to have 100 books published, and that's when you are selling every day, so having one book selling every day, that's like the golden standard for me, which I'm still far on that. No, so still the journey is solopreneur for me because I'm doing these two hats happily. Following the dream is like something that burns in me, and a personal statement to be accepted as Harvard and here in Geneva is, well, man, I want to become the ambassador of Mexico for this stuff, no? So I think I'm doing good, and having a publishing business elevates my professional aspect on that. But anyway, so what I'm trying to share here, Michael, is been doing good. Marathon level is amazing. I think I'm going to run the next one in September here in Germany. So it's going to be my 18th. In October as well, I'm turning 4 years with my business, man. So it's just like I need to understand what that means. Like I have the bank statements, I have I have 10K on the bank, which is like the highest I have ever been. But like money is running out because I decided to stay here, and I want to be ready to take it into another level. Like I was back when I was talking to you, I need to apply to the SBA loan, and somehow I was thinking very purist, like the SBA loan is the only loan that I want, and now it's just like, man, you need to find solutions. It's just like, hey, probably if you talk to this person, you talk to this lender, you talk to this brand market, you can get it faster even, no? So right now I'm open to hear any any solutions, man. I don't want to become vulnerable again because that was the tone when I reached out to you. Rebuilding myself, but now it's some different position. Like I'm so far from my hometown, which forces you to think more strategically, forces you to be more assertive. And yeah, man, it's just like I'm happy to share this journey. Like I remember the book of Atomic Habits and the identity stuff. No, so for me, the marathon runner, I'm keep running, I keep writing, and I'm keep hustling. So on that way, I see the milestones coming up, and in that sense, I think in this conversation, in this fourth video, I think I'm ready, man. Like, I mean, you say get a credit score first and then align all these documentations, the business plan. Obviously, I need to make my books clear on the financial statements, like I have limited knowledge, but I'm aware of that. So it's just like I'm aware that as an entrepreneur, I don't have all the answers, but I can have multiple hats and knock doors to ask help. Like that's the key thing that I have. And as another point, well, man, just want to continue this dialogue with you. And now I think I'm going to put this video conversation with Jefe Michael. So let me just put in your latest video, hey, Jefe Michael, I'm answering now. But anyways, man, I wish you the best. Thanks for sharing the personal story on your parents, on your family, and your brother, on the California stuff. Like, that's amazing, man. I feel you, so gracias. I don't know why I speak sometimes in English with you, but Jefe Michael, ya sabes, aquí estamos. Gerardo, otro luchador, otro escritor, y pues gracias, seguimos al contacto. I might need your help, man. Now, like this is the time. I'm steady. I'm calm, but I wanted to volar del estadio. I don't know. You know, like knock it out of the stadium, kind of like that way. Anyways, my friend, sorry if I take along. Right now it's 30 minutes of the video, so see you, man. Wish you the best and keep on going, man. Keep. I was listening today. Keep on rocking on the free wall. So see you, man. Bye bye. Saludos.